man, you're good looking. I said, you're really good looking. And then we would wear wigs out there. So when he put on his wig, I said, man, you're really good looking. So it was a joke I had between him and I. And I kept teasing him, you know, in the concourse. Man, the only reason you're distributing books is because you're so good looking. Otherwise, I'd get them all. It was just a rasa we had. It was just beautiful. And we would always distribute not too far from each other. You'd be on one part of the concourse, and I'd be down over here. And what was really cool was whenever he'd meet a big boy, a nice young man, a soldier boy, he'd turn around and look at me like this, and he'd like a big old smile. It was just a thing. So I had a very good relationship with him. And I recalled that he was always very happy person, very, you know, devoted to Srila, just sold out, you know. Because every time I would meet him in a particular place, he just, hi, Prabhupada, you know, and we would constantly be associated with each other. At that time, I was living in the Brahmacharya ashram. So I had really close relationship with him because I stayed in the ashram. And so it was really a wonderful experience for me to be with him that close to somebody. And I always remember him because he was such a person that would do anything for you. He had that kind of a heart. Whatever situation occurred, you know, he'd support you, he'd back you up, and he'd give you good advice. So I really developed that kind of relationship with him, and that was very meaningful for me at that time. It was very important because when you're a book distributor in the airport, you need that kind of support. You got to have that camaraderie. You got to have somebody that's there with you and doing the same thing and really absorbed. So our escapades consisted of, you know, on Friday morning, him and I would leave for the airport right after Mangalarti. Tariq would have like prasadam for us, and we'd change our clothes right there, right into our karmis. And then, you know, the devotees would help us get prasadam, and we'd go into this old milk truck. And then every time we got into that milk truck, he always wanted to drive. And he
just you and him?
Huh?
Just you and him?
Yeah, just him and I. And then, you know, he would, as soon as he got into that driver's seat, Haribo, Prabhu! he was a changed person. In temporal, he was, you know, reserved, you know. But once he got behind that seat in that milk truck, he just exploded. Jai, Prabhu, Haribo! Srila Prabhupada ki jai! And he was just so excited. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai! Mm-hmm. And he would just, practically halfway there, that's what he'd be doing. And so we would spend the whole day at the airport, all the way into like, we'd hit the last shipment in of young men. That was about 1 o'clock in the morning. And we'd stack up our Krishna books, boxes. We'd stack them up. And then right before that, though, it was a ritual for us to go into the milk truck, and there we would have sour cream, dates, and apples and nuts. And we ate pretty sumptuously.
1 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah. And we were
get the energy up, man.
Energy. We had energy galore. And he was so powerful that he could keep two people at one time. I mean, he was just going like a madman. We would do like just a couple of cases in a matter of minutes in that you know, that we had like 50 guys come off every minute or something. And we completely stopped them and we started hitting them up. And I'm sorry if I use that word, hit them up. It was just our lingo, you know. That's we were actually,
liberation.
Yeah, you know. So, but anyway, we kind of had that kind of thing going where, and then we right after that rush, we'd immediately get into the milk truck, drive back to the temple, go take rest, maybe, you know, a good 5 hours or something like that. And then about like 9 o'clock in the morning, we'd get in the milk truck and head to the airport again. And we were half asleep, but that rush was always so huge that we couldn't resist it. We had to do it. And it was tremendous. And the airport with him was just, it was my home. It was my second home. I didn't even think about anything else. That was my life in, day out, at least for a year and a half till we finally shut down the airport. We had a huge marathon and they closed us down. They kicked us out.
They didn't open it up again?
Huh?
Never opened up again?
Not when I was there. So,
well, Atlanta's always been unofficially open.
yeah.
Christian Life was going there.
Yeah, I see, yeah. So anyway, that didn't end our book distribution. Then him and I went to New York. And in New York, we met Brigopati. Brigopati was just the beginning book distributor. I mean, he wasn't really big, but he was just starting to get into it. So the temple president, was it Gokulanand?
In Atlanta?
Yeah, no, in New York.
Educational.
No.
Way back.
Way back.
75,
76.
Uchimashloka?
No, in Chicago.
That thing.
Gopi Janavala.
Remember he committed suicide.
Gopi Janavala?
Gopi Janavala, yeah. Wow, he was such a nice devotee. So he gave us Brigopati. So it was Chardeshna, me, and Brigopati Prabhu going out to the parking lots. It was great. We had such a great time. I mentioned it to Brigopati every now and then. Remember that? But the whole point I'm trying to make is that
but I was
my association with him was just, it was so based on preaching, book distribution, completely. That was my relationship with him. And it brought it to different heights that I never thought I'd ever reach by his association. And I would say that he was always very gracious, beautiful person, taught me a lot, had a lot of enthusiasm being in his association. We were very Krishna. I was more Krishna conscious than I ever been. It was just total chanting a japa, reading books when there was time. We could sit down, read books. And after the airport was closed, I went back to to Denver, and Chardeshna came with me. And he stayed in Denver for about, I don't know, maybe a year and a half, and went back to Atlanta. So that's my relationship.
He went back to Atlanta, you stayed.
I stayed in Denver. So that's my relationship with Chardeshna Prabhu.
And when Ram, Sita, and Lakshman had left Ayodhya, the whole, all the townspeople of Ayodhya followed them to the edge of the forest. And then they had to cross the Sarayu. They left without the townspeople in the middle of the night, and the boatman took them across. There's a Vedic tradition, and that is that you don't charge a person who's in your same profession for a service. If you're a barber and you go to a barber never charges another barber. So when they got to the shore, Ram indicated to Sita to give the boatman one of her rings. And the boatman refused it. He said, I can't take payment because we're in the same profession. And Ramchandra was taken aback, and he said, how is it that I'm a prince, albeit an exiled prince, and you're a boatman? How are we in the same profession? And he said that I just took you across the river. That when I'm leaving this world, I hope that you'll also transport me across the ocean of the material world and be my guide and boatman when you go across. I was thinking about how so many devotees had come to the Krishna conscious movement and Prabhupada gave service. I saw in the TOVP pictures of all the devotees who have departed. And I had mixed emotions. One, I felt that they were still here. Because life goes on, we keep doing our service. We hear somebody leaves, and if we're not in the same proximity to them, then we barely notice the effect that they're not there. I always just think they're still here, and then when I'm reminded, all these devotees left, the aggregate of. And then my second emotion was how great they were. That although the Shastra says somebody can just say Hare Krishna, they're a great soul. What to speak of somebody who jumps on the bandwagon and serves a pure devotee in his big mission. And anyone who's done that will, as Prabhupada said, be transported across the ocean. So I think of Charadeshna as one of those great souls who's completely sold out. There was not any gap in his faith at all in Prabhupada and the process of book distribution and Harinam Sankirtan, complete faith. He kept it throughout his whole life. He did his service better than anybody. Prabhupada noticed him because on the newsletter, the way we had it arranged for so many years was best. Was it the best 1 day out of 3 or 2
3
days?
3 days. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
That was a 1
Yeah,
day.
but you could take
this was
the
1 day.
two top scores out of the week, or maybe one top score out of the weekend.
Yeah.
That's why you all stayed up all night.
Yeah, that's
long,
right.
Because you counted as one 24-hour day.
Yeah,
Nobody could match
nobody could match.
Charadeshna and
I
Savas because they were always on top because nobody had the facility to go out at 2
That's
in the
right.
morning and count it as the same day. That's how sold out Charadeshna was. And of course, Savas too, as they were joined at the hip. Competition was fierce. When Sir and I came to Atlanta, Savas and Charadeshna already had their routine. They would leave practically, talk about right after Mangalartik if you don't count the Shringa prayers. 'Cause I remember you driving down the driveway without us. And we had to wait. It was a staggered start, like home field advantage.
The competition was in.
Because they were like take off in the milk van or whatever it was.
Charadeshna would always say, we gotta go. We gotta go. Let's get out of here before they get ready.
That's how it was.
You would tell them.
And then we'd get in the car and drive as fast as we could to get out there. But it was already too late.
And how late would you guys stay out?
We did that. I did a few times with Charadeshna, the all-nighter.
Yeah.
I knew what it was. I was still in that era when I went back. I had 2 eras, one where I went with Sura and another time when I went by myself. In any case, with Charadeshna, I just remember that, as Savas Prabhu was saying, he was in Samadhi, as Prabhupada mentions that one verse in the Bhagavatam, that it's a kind of Samadhi to take the order of the spiritual master and then don't think of anything else, just do that. And that's how he conducted himself. And I saw him just last year. I was in Atlanta, and he came to the Sunday program, and he was frail. And I talked to him, and I saw he still had that same smile, even though his body was emaciated.
Wow.
But he had the same smile and the same compassionate voice. And I was thinking, successful life. You left it all in the field.
Yeah.
Not even one iota wasted off the field. He just gave it all to Prabhupada and kept his strong faith all the way through. So I pray for his association in the next go-around of the Sankirtan party. That may we join him back together again. May the Lord transport him across the river of the material world because of his dedication to Prabhupada during this lifetime. Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.
So a couple of pastimes I heard from when since being in Atlanta, Balavanta was saying how he was living in a teepee, trying to be an impersonalist. And he brought him in and he said he credits him with getting the book distribution going to that level in Atlanta. He said from the first day, he just took to it. Even though he's in the South, he's got a black body.
Yeah.
You know, the tensions are still high. And imagine, he still could sell all those books.
Yeah.
And he would go in the street sometimes. They mentioned how the police once pulled him over. And they said, son, you got 2 problems. You're black and a Hare Krishna. And he kept going. And Balabhadra, I know you all know Balabhadra. He used to be the cook, and he would bring the prasad out. And he has asked Prabhu once, "Can I try to show you try?" You know, he said, "Yeah, you did pretty good. We have to bring you out here on a regular basis, I think now." So he got him into book distribution.
Oh, but
Yeah.
was there anybody else? Any other book distributors there in Atlanta?
There's another devotee named Dvorak. He was very good, actually a good book distributor. And there's another devotee. I don't recall exactly his name, but it started with the M. It might have been Maitreya.
Yeah.
You remember that?
From Atlanta?
Now now
Yeah.
that you mentioned it, I think it was Maitreya. I think Swaha came out too.
Swaha was good.
Swaha
Swaha
was
was
good.
great. And then Vedaguya was
Vedaguya, yeah.
Vedaguya came on board, and he was like the star. He gave me like a,
And that
Shining.
southern drawl,
he was
boy.
like
You can tell them
really-
Southerners,
he
huh?
was fired up as anything. Yeah.
You know, he kept distributing. Even when he was sick, he would go out with that Mahotsava. Matter of fact, in this last marathon, they called it the Carudesna Book Marathon.
Oh yeah.
They did that this year.
Yeah. Mahotsaha.
Mahotsava. So he would go out a few times with him, even though he still, body wasn't so willing, but he
Yeah.
had a big smile. He'd sell some books. We went out a couple of times also when they started the Weekend Warriors. So I said, "Come on, Charles, let's go do our Weekend Warriors." Vice is trying to outdo you again. He goes, "What? Let's go." Health wouldn't hold up. So, anyways, our
I just
Weekend Warriors went down. His kept going. I don't know. I thought we were going to really get Vice for a minute there because we're in the South. Those people, So, anyways, that's
Just a
what.
note, although it feels like we're not moving at all, we've already
We
come
are.
back
We
to
are
this.
moving.
And it's sort of, it's very,
Oh yeah, we're moving.
it is similar, it seems, in life. You don't notice.
Yeah. You don't notice.
Because you're in the middle, the current takes you along, and
That's right.
perspective-wise, it looks like, yeah, everything's the same.
I thought we were in the same place.
It's not the same.
He came to mine for just
So
one
let's
time.
do the, yes.
I was gonna. He just came one time, 1976, and that was it.
Where?
Chaudation,
To where?
Mayapur, yeah.
So should we do?
Yes, let's do. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. There's a porpoise that showed up just now.
Yeah.
He just surfaced. Very auspicious. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Swasino Govinda Swasino Chutananto Swasino Vasudevo Vishnu Dharatu Swasino Narayano Naro Vai Swasina Padmarabha Purushottam Dharatu Swasino Vishwakshena Visheshwaraha Swasino Hrishikesho Harer Dharatu Swasino Vainatayo Harihi Swasino Ananjana Suto Haner Bhagavato Dharatu Swasti Sumangalai Kesho Mahanshi Krishna Sakchit Ananda Ganaha Sarveshwareshwar Dharatu Karotu Swasti Me Krishna Sarvalokeshwareshwara Karshnari Yasakurvantu Swasti Me Lokapanavaha Om Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Shri Shri Prahlad Nrsimha, Shri Panchatattva, Shri Radha Madhava, Ashtasaki. The deities in Atlanta, Shri Shri Gaurnitai,
Jagannath
Jagannath
Baladev.
Baladev, Subhadra and Madan Mohan, and all the assembled devotees, and dear Ganga Mata, please accept the ashes of our dear godbrother, Carudesna Prabhu, who served the Sankirtan movement with distinction throughout his whole life, and who was a great warrior in book distribution and a great comrade in arms. We'll miss him dearly, and please transport him back to the spiritual world. Thank you for considering our request. Everyone agrees with this prayer in whole or in part. Please say Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna.
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Take the bag out.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hold the bottles. Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Shri Carudesna Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Now that eternally there that we put him in.
Business finished.
Om Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Carudesna Prabhu ki jai,
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai, Sankirtan Yajna ki jai.
Jai.
And just think,
Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai.
everyone at Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai, every one of those books he distributed is there somewhere. Every person he
That's
met,
right. That's right.
their trajectory
Yeah.
in this material world has been changed
Yeah.
by one person. Who knows how many of those seeds will grow up or already have grown up?
Yeah.
It's practically
True.
impossible to trace.
Absolutely
Krishna
true.
knows.
Absolutely true.